Yes, people, it's Cam, and from the title, you can see that my agency went from 60,000 USD in a month to zero the following month, and I'm going to tell you everything that I learned from getting to 60K and also from going back down to zero. Now, just a disclaimer, we went back to zero. We kind of had a little bit of a reset, but nonetheless, in May, we did £47,000 GBP, which is like 61,000 USD, give or take. Then in June, the following month, we did zero. And this is just from the agency, guys, by the way. So just the B2B side, agency, the straight agency. I'm going to tell you guys what I learned. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break it down into 6 different things that I learned, and I've written them down on my phone. And I want to talk about the 3 things that I learned on the way up and the 3 things that I learned on the way down, because I learned different things at different times. And hopefully that is something that can help out you guys whilst watching this. So first I want to start with what I learned on the way up. Now, the first thing that I learned is that getting to 10K a month GBP, because I'm in the UK, which is, I don't know, maybe $13,000 a month, is easy, right? Or in fact, let me not say easy. It's very simple though, okay? So to get to 10K a month in any agency, any B2B business, all you have to do is you have to have a lot of consistency and a lot of volume. You can pretty much get everything wrong and still get there. So anyone that's doing their thing, anyone that's trying something and trying to be super intricate, if your initial goal is 10K a month, volume and consistency. Most people super underestimate how many emails they have to send, how many cold calls they have to make, and how long they have to do it for, right? With the skills, you could go, as long as you've got the skills, you can get from 0 to 10K a month in 3 months, no more than that. If you don't have the skills, I would say maximum it will take you a year, max. If it's taking you longer than a year, you're probably in the wrong industry or you're doing something wrong. And normally the 2 things that people get wrong is volume and consistency, right? So that's the first thing that I learned on the way up. Now, the second thing that I learned is that you should have 1 niche and 1 acquisition strategy. So this is a trap that everyone falls into, right? And we think about scaling our business and we think about how we need to have an omnipresence, which is definitely true, right? You want to be on social media, you want to send cold emails, you want to have a sales team that does outreach, you want to do all these different things, right? And what you fall into is you fall into the trap of doing everything and being an expert in none of them, right? And if you do that, you end up not making money. Instead, if you just pick 1 niche and you pick 1 acquisition strategy, you will go a lot further because you'll actually be able to become an expert in that one thing, okay? Now, third thing that I learned is to make content and you will thank me later. So I must say I'm very inconsistent with content, and I just am. I'm sorry, that's one of the only things that I'm inconsistent with. Now, I know why I'm inconsistent with it, and it's probably the same reason that you're not making content. Content is never urgent in the sense of it always has a long lead time. So this video that I'm making today will make me money at some point 2, 3, 4 years maybe into the future. And because of that, we get stuck in the cycle that we have to do our outreach and we have to do things that will pay us now. If you start now, and as soon as you start sending outreach, but you also start making content, in 6 months' time, your outreach is going to be a lot easier and you're going to thank me because of the content that you've made for the past 6 months. It's going to help you to nurture those leads. It's going to help you to make a lot of money. So whatever you're doing, I know I only said 1 acquisition method. I say 1 acquisition method, but also add content. So if you're doing paid ads, do paid ads, but also make content. If you're doing outreach, do outreach and add content. That's the something I would say. So that's the 3 things that I learned on the way up, right? But there are also things that I learned on the way down, essentially, or when the agency went from 47K to the following month going to 0, okay? So the first thing that I learned then is that if you only work on sales, acquisition will always be an uphill battle, okay? So both myself and Trist, who's my business partner for anyone that doesn't know, we're both very good at sales. I'm not going to cut it any other way, right? Because of that, we're able to rely on sales a lot of the time. So we could have maybe not many case studies, a new offer, a product that we don't know much about, but we're always able to sell it because we're very good at sales, right? Now, because of that, we sometimes are a bit lazy. Full transparency, right? Sometimes we're a bit lazy because we know that just with the sales skills, this will carry us through. Now, because of that, sometimes we don't build out the sales system as well as we would for a client, for example, because we know that we can get there with sales. We might not have as many case studies as we need. We might not go as hard on content as we need because we know as long as we get in front of someone, we can sell them. Now, the problem with that is that you never make your business easier. The aim of a business, if you focus on marketing and you focus on product, in 6 months down the line, in 6 years down the line, it will be easier to make sales than it is today, right? So all these things that you do in your business should make making sales easier. It shouldn't always be an uphill battle to make sales. With what we do, because we're very heavy on just outbound and outbound marketing, sales heavy, very direct sales, because they're the methods that we use a lot of, every single month you have to regrind, you have to grind and work on a new prospect when that shouldn't actually be the case, okay? So that's something that we didn't do well, and that's something that I learned on the way down. Every single month we would have to work and hustle to get clients. Instead of, if we did things the right way and we worked on marketing more than sales, we'd eventually have a lot of inbound clients, right? Next thing that I learned is that LTV, or lifetime value, is better than high one-time flat fees. So I got sucked into the build and release strategy that Serge talks about, and I thought that it seemed quite cool. And to be fair, I probably did it in the wrong way. So I don't want to slander Serge. He's a G. I like him. And I think that he's a very good business owner. He's a very astute business owner and a good studier. That's one thing I'll have to give him. So I followed him, or I copied him, and I thought, okay, cool, we're going to start charging 15K one-time flat fees and 20K one-time flat fees. And it did two things. So the first thing is it made the sales process a little bit more difficult than it had to be, because you're asking someone to make a big commitment to someone that they don't know. And the second thing is the lifetime value of a customer doesn't actually go up. But I was very focused on getting money in, and it was like a salesman mentality. It was get money in now, get money in now, get money in now. Now, the problem with that is that, firstly, touching on the second point, you always have to work and make those sales. And the second thing is that you don't actually make more money over the long run. So there were some clients that turned us down, where if I maybe worked commission only with them, or maybe if I took a small retainer plus comms, we'd end up making more in the long term. But I was very focused on just making the money this month, making the money this month. And the reason that I had that was because I had very big goals on touching 100K a month. But the 100K a month goals clouded my million a year goals, right? I just wanted to make 100K this month. So I would always project, if I sign this client for this much, and instead of compounding and working towards that, I just wanted to hit it straight away. So it was a little bit of impatience, and that's something that would have led to us making more money over the long term. Now, the last thing is save money in your business. That's the last thing that I learned on the way down. And we would reinvest all the money into our business, right? So I don't want you guys to think that we're just spending money on lifestyle and it's hurrah and we're just doing our thing. But we would reinvest the money too quickly. And what I mean by that is, as soon as we'd make money, we'd spend it on the business. So it would always feel like it was fair and good things to spend on. But what would eventually happen is that you've never got a pot. Now, you've never got a war chest. And that war chest, what you can do with it is, maybe you could save money for a rainy day, which we did have enough. So I can't say we always had enough money for the rainy days, even if it was stormy. But what I will say is that because we reinvested so quickly, we never had 100 grand sitting around where we could say, okay, cool, you know what, we're going to try this. We're going to hire this person. We're going to build out this team. We're going to try this. We never had enough money where we were able to aggressively make changes because we were spending the money so quickly as soon as we were getting it, right? So even though we made 47K, and a lot of that is profit, maybe, I don't know, 70% margins, 80% margin, very high margins in what we do, because as much as it's an agency, it's almost like a consultancy business where there's very minimal labor cost and very minimal acquisition cost. We still never had enough money to just make the bigger kind of plays that we wanted to make. So yeah, that's the 6 things that I learned. Any questions that you guys have, or anything that you guys want to know, let me know. And that's all, man. It's just a quick video, just sharing my thoughts. So as always, it has been Cam, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.